All right, today we're diving deep into the microscopic world to talk about a tiny but incredibly powerful adversary. It's called gram-negative bacteria, and it poses one of the biggest challenges to modern medicine.
And it all kind of starts with a really simple question. Imagine you're in a lab, and the result of a test is just the color, blue or red. What if I told you that single color could tell you almost everything you need to know about how dangerous a bacterium is and how to fight it?
And that brings us to this idea of a tale of two colors. You see, the entire bacterial kingdom can be split into two huge groups based on this one chemical process called gram staining. It's this fundamental dividing line, and it really is all about color. Okay, so here's the breakdown. When you apply the stain, gram-positive bacteria, they turn blue. But the ones we're focused on today, gram-negative bacteria, they stain red. Now, this isn't just about looks. That color difference is a clue to their totally different cell walls. Gram-positives have this thick, exposed layer, but gram-negatives, they have a thin layer that's protected by an extra outer membrane. And that extra layer, that's the whole ballgame. It determines which antibiotics can even get in and which are just going to bounce right off. So how does staining red make them so tough? Well, that unique cell wall, with its extra outer membrane, isn't just a wall. It's way more like a sophisticated suit of body armor. And to really understand why these bacteria are so resilient, we've got to peel back the layers of that defense system.
The very first layer is this protective capsule. You can think of it as a cloaking device. It actually helps the bacteria hide from our immune system's first responders, our white blood cells. This makes it so much harder for our bodies to just grab and destroy these invaders.
And then, right underneath that capsule is another major defense, the outer membrane. This thing acts like a selective force field. It literally blocks certain types of antibiotics, like penicillin, from ever reaching their target inside the cell. It's a huge reason why these infections can be so hard to treat.
But here's the kicker. Even if our drugs do manage to break through and start damaging that outer membrane, the bacterium has this nasty little trick up its sleeve. As the membrane falls apart, it releases these toxic substances called endotoxins. And these toxins can actually make you feel way worse, ramping up fever and inflammation. It's like a final parting shot that makes the host sick, even as the bacteria is dying. So with a defense system this good, what kind of damage can these bacteria actually do? Let's take a look at the real-world impact. This is really a rogues gallery of some of the most serious infections out there. Yeah, you definitely know some of these names. Gram-negative bacteria are the culprits behind common food poisoning from things like E. coli and salmonella, but they're also responsible for historic pandemics like the plague and cholera, and they also cause whooping cough and typhoid fever. I mean, that is a truly formidable list of diseases. And they're not picky about where they cause trouble either. They can create a huge range of problems all over the body. We're talking life-threatening pneumonia and meningitis, dangerous bloodstream infections, painful UTIs, and gastroenteritis. They are just incredibly versatile pathogens. And all of this leads us to their most critical challenge, what you could really call their ultimate superpower, antibiotic resistance. It's like all those defenses we just talked about are getting supercharged as these bacteria learn to outsmart our best medicines.
This right here is the core problem that's keeping doctors and researchers up at night. The number of gram-negative bugs that are resistant to even our strongest last resort antibiotics is growing at a really alarming rate. So how exactly does a bacterium become a superbug?
Well, it happens in three main ways. First, some are just born with it. Their natural structure, like that outer membrane, already protects them. Second, and this is wild, they can just pick up resistance genes from other bacteria around them. It's kind of like trading superpowers on the playground. And third, their own genes can mutate, evolving totally new ways to fight off the drugs we use to kill them. So let's put all the pieces together. What does this all mean for us? Because understanding this microscopic enemy isn't just some academic exercise. This is a critical issue for public health. Let's just recap the threat here. We're up against a bacterium that can hide from our immune system, that has a built-in force field to block our drugs, that fights back with poison when it's attacked, and on top of all that is constantly evolving to get even stronger. Any one of those traits is a big problem. All of them together, that's a perfect storm.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty urgent question. These bacteria have been evolving for literally billions of years. So as they continue to adapt and outsmart our most advanced medicines, the real question is, what's our next move in this microscopic, high-stakes arms race?